Hello, fellow outro brothers and sisters, and welcome back to Return of the Earth Defenders chapters 28, 29, and possibly 30 in the epilogue. So, guys, this really might be the last episode audio recording of Return of the Earth Defenders. So stand up, come on, stand up. And sing this with me. Give the series a proper respect before the credits are rolled. Return of the Defenders. Ooh. Y'all probably think I'm weird. But anyway, if this isn't, we'll just do that again on the 30th and final episode. But anyways, yeah, we're literally like right at the end. 30 chapters and the epilogue. And we're starting at chapter 28, guys. It's gonna end. And besides editing, I'm still editing Mark of the Ancients. And then after the questions and answers live stream, that's it for Return of the Earth Defenders. We go on to the sequel, and then we go on to Return of the Earth Defenders 2, and then the final one, and that's it. Those would be the last audio recordings of me doing the book ever. You're never going to see them again. Like, none. And they all have question and answers live stream. So, without further ado, let me just get this computer over here. And let's begin. Chapter 28. The Alien Invasion. Godzilla and the others had returned after their whole Valentine's Day was done. As they all were having fun, Godzilla saw Morgan approach them with a concerned look on his face. "Lieutenant, to what do I owe this pleasure?" Godzilla asked. "We have a priority one mission. King Ghidorah has invaded Earth," Lieutenant Morgan explained. "I know the perfect vessel to repel those ships. It's almost finished. I need you and Girasberg and all of the Japanese military to hold off those ships," Martha ordered. "No promises," Morgan replied. "I need the Gitango here to complete my project," Martha explained. "Then I'll give you 3 except Rodan a ride," Morgan explained. "Good. Let's defend our home," Godzilla shouted as the others went to work. 5 asteroids later. As they arrived, Godzilla could see how bad it was. 3 alien destroyers. There were many vehicles. 3 alien destroyers were there in the sky. There were many vehicles. It was a mixture of flak AA guns and AA turrets positioned throughout the city. While a few fighters were being destroyed, some of the firepower was not enough. Godzilla was trying to think. "Has anyone destroyed the shields of the cruiser?" Godzilla asked. "We haven't even gotten to the shields. Their ground forces are tough to kill, and those fighters are causing too many problems," Morgan shouted. "Rodan, see if you can make a path. I'll try to use my atomic breath," Godzilla replied. "Here, I'm activating the secret hover ships in Experiment X-17, Morgan told them. More references to Battle Nations. You gotta love them. As they all got in the middle of the war zone, each of them had their targets and took out their enemies. The robots were much harder to kill, and the fighters were quite the challenge. As they all landed, they got to work. Rodan's speed showed the aliens he had no mercy, as his fire ability melted the ships or blew them up. Riot troopers, heavy artillery, mega tanks, tank crusher, monster trucks. Cool, monster trucks in a war zone that just run people and destroy things. That's sick. M2104 laser gunners and railgun snipers began their work as Morgan got his boots on the ground. We're done using the puny weapons. Bring out the railgun tanks and buggies, Morgan shouted. Those vehicles rolled out, firing high-velocity shots that vaporized 3 tanks with one blow. The railgun snipers had high-velocity shots as well, but they vaporized enemies. Fall back! Fall back! The alien robot shouted as the alien ground forces were inflicting heavy casualties. The alien robots were outgunned, out-weaponized, and outnumbered. Soon they had pushed the front lines all the way back to the harbor that led to the ocean's waters. "I'm going to wipe out the first cruiser," Godzilla shouted. Even though Rodan was miles in the sky, he could hear Godzilla's roars anywhere. "Give me a minute, I need to distract the cruiser's turrets," Rodan shouted as he plowed his way through blowing fighters up simply by bumping into them. Finally, Rodan reached the turrets as he unleashed his fire laser. The blast pierced the shield and damaged the turrets. "I've got their attention. We're ready when you are," Rodan shouted at Godzilla. 5 asteroids later. Rainbow Dash had been a bit busy as captain of the Wonderbolts. She missed her lifelong friend, Spitfire. Rainbow Dash was engaged with Soren. Not that it was a surprise, but she loved him very much. After a while, Octavia had visited Canterlot, saying that her friend, Vinyl Scratch, had been missing for over a year. She left no note, nothing. She just vanished. When Spitfire had zoomed over to the hospital, even Nurse Redheart was confused of Rodan's disappearance and Spitfire's. Rainbow Dash went to her friend Twilight Sparkle and told her everything. Celestia had given Twilight a spell that could allow them to travel to the ancient world. However, there was only one problem. Whoever was in charge of the dimension clearly wanted all access to the original dimension closed off. Twilight had worked very hard to try to find a loophole, but even the ancient spells were tricky. Finally, Twilight had the help of Cadence, and she assisted her with the spell. Finally, after a few months, they finally got the spell done. Twilight asked Rarity, Applejack, Rainbow Dash. Hang on. That was my watch. Twilight asked Rarity, Applejack, Rainbow Dash, and Octavia that she had the spell done. She also asked Fluttershy and Pinkie Pie to make sure everything went right during Ponyville. "Okay, we are ready to go," Twilight asked. They all nodded. "Oh, darling, we should go there in fashion. This is another dimension after all," Rarity replied. Fine, Twilight rolled her eyes. They each wore t-shirts and pony-like pants that covered them. "There, now we're ready," Rarity hummed. As they all stood at the dimensional doorway, Twilight cast a spell as it created a portal that they stepped in. "We're going through the other side," Twilight shouted at her friends through the vortex. "I can't wait to see the beautiful sunshines and rainbows," Rarity said dreamily. "There's not going to be rainbows in this dimension, that's for certain," Rarity said dreamily. As all of them exited the portal in the other dimension and in anthropomorphic pony bodies and fully clothed. When they looked up at the sky, instead of seeing sunshine and rainbows, they saw the 3 alien cruisers as the battlefield over Manhattan continued. They then noticed a Godzilla a few feet in front of them. They all watched in astonishment as Godzilla's spikes glowed blue as he unleashed his atomic breath on the cruiser. The blast penetrated the shield as it tore through a huge part of the cruiser. The cruiser lowered from the sky, crashing into the waters below. A huge tidal wave approached the shoreline. "And coming!" Godzilla warned as the tidal wave got closer. Rodan's speed then decreased the tidal wave as a flame wave of the same size canceled it out. "Not on my watch," Rodan smirked. "That was awesome!" Rainbow Dash shouted in glee, alerting Godzilla that he was not alone. "Oops," Rainbow Dash blushed. "More equestrian ponies? Why did you travel to our dimension?" Godzilla shouted. "We were here to find a friend who disappeared. Their names are Scratch and Spitfire." Twilight answered. Godzilla softened himself, seeing the truth in their eyes, remaining silent for a few minutes before speaking. I know where they are, but I can't bring you to them, not while our planet is under attack, Godzilla answered them. You know where they are? Octavia and Raymond shouted in unison. Later! Right now I have 2 alien cruisers to destroy, Godzilla answered. Morgan, I'm going to need Experiment X-17 to take the next one. All he needs is a huge shot to take out the next cruiser, Godzilla warned. Actually, I have a better idea, Morgan replied. Experiment X-17 raised its giant arm and smashed it into the cruiser, sending it 10 feet away into the other part of Manhattan. Godzilla shrugged. That'll work, he told them. You just destroyed buildings! Rarity shouted angrily. Chillax, they were evacuated. An American can easily rebuild it. Easy peasy, Godzilla answered. Godzilla, tell Experiment X-17 the Sentinel ships in the ancient centuries all focus in on the ground forces in the battle. I'll focus on the final cruiser. God, that's what I meant to say. Cruiser. On it, Morgan replied, as each of the vehicles got into position as Godzilla charged up his atomic breath. All of them fired at once, causing multiple explosions around the final cruiser as it was blown to bits. All of them cheered, but there had been much destruction. We finally stopped the invasion, Morgan sighed. No, it's still going on. There have to be at least 30 cruisers taking on our orbital defenses. Those cruisers were the ones that had gotten through, Godzilla explained. Then how do we get up there? All the wardens and fighters can't take on a fleet that size, Morgan explained. Then it's a good thing my surprise is finished, Martha shouted as a familiar ship approached them. The Olympus Mons? He rebuilt it? Morgan shouted. Ah, the super carrier cruiser in Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Oh, that thing is cool. I didn't just rebuild... Morgan shouted. I didn't just rebuild it, I upgraded it. And when this wreck was found after the dimensional disaster, I actually had the ship finished in time, Martha explained. Well then, let's go, Godzilla answered, as he brought Twilight, Octavia, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and Applejack along with him. Godzilla could see that the crew consisted of the rest of the Earth Defenders, Type 3 Kuryu, Mogera, Spitfire, Vinyl with her baby, Angel, Flutterbat, and Pinkie Pie. By the way, some friends came from another dimension to see Spitfire and Vinyl scratch, Godzilla said, revealing the others. Vinyl! Octavia shouted. Vinyl felt her blood run cold as she saw her friend. Octavia? Vinyl stammered. Octavia ran forward and hugged her friend. You're okay, Vinyl, I missed you. I'm so sorry for our argument. Octavia began to apologize in a rapid tone. Octavia, it's not your fault. I forgive you, Vinyl replied. Spitfire! Rainbow Dash cheered as she hugged her friend. It's been a while, Rainbow Dash, Spitfire stuttered. Fluttershy? Pinkie Pie? What are you doing here? Twilight asked, confused. Actually, it's Flutterbat and Pinkamena. Oh, excuse me. We're different versions of our friends from another equestrian dimension, Flutterbat explained. Oh, so you're different versions of our friends? Twilight asked. Indeedy-doody, Pinkie Pie replied, jumping up and down. As they were given their friendly greetings, Octavia then noticed the sleeping angel that Vinyl held in her arms. Oh my goodness! Vinyl, that baby Pegasus has your baby Pegasus. Baby, that strange baby Pegasus has your white coat. Who is she? Octavia asked. She's my daughter, Angel, Vinyl answered. Everyone froze, except the Earth Defenders, Spitfire, Flutterbat, and Pinkie Pie. Who's the father? Octavia stammered out. I am her husband, and she's my wife, Martha answered. Octavia looked at Angel, then at Martha and Vinyl. She could definitely see that he was the father, given his, well, design and... Anyway, hang on. You got married? Octavia asked. Yes, and I've been happily married to Martha for almost a year, Vinyl explained. I also recently and happily married Rodan, Spitfire told them. I'm happily married to Anguirus, Flutterbat blushed. Ooh, confession time! I recently happily married Baragon. Oh, it was so romantic. Pinkie bounced up and down. Twilight, Octavia, Rainbow Dash, Applejack, and Rarity all stood there with their jaws dropped. You married Flutterbat? Since when? Rainbow Dash asked. I have a feeling they'll catch you up soon, but right now, we still have the invasion to deal with, Godzilla explained. You're right. You all might want to buckle up. This is going to be one heck of a ride, Martha answered. The Olympus Mons began to tip itself upward as Martha stood at the controls. Activating rocket thrusters, exiting the planet's atmosphere, Martha shouted, as the loud thrusters fired as the giant Olympus Mons supercarrier launched itself high into the sky, entering Earth's orbit. There's the alien fleet, Martha shouted. All right, boys and girls, it's time us Earth Defenders defended our world, Godzilla explained as he began to form the strategy. His world. I don't know who owns this. I also don't know who this is by, but I don't own it. Come on, I like the fuse. He's a rocket and he's ready to go. Cause now the countdown started and he's ready to blow. He's got the dope sounds pumping in his stereo. Kicking fast, putting on a show. Go and get yourself together. There's no time to rest. And if you put the time in, he'll put you to the test. It's like a running man in this world, more or less. If you want test 10 best, bring your best. Don't make me spell it out. Bring your best. In this world, his world, where life is strong. In this world, his world, life's an open book. In this world, his world, where compromise does not exist. In its world of wars, every step meets the rest. In this world, his world, where one is all. In this world, his world, never fear the fall. In this world, his world, where compromise does not exist. In his world of wars, every step meets the rest. Running back again, well, what'd you expect? Come on at you with a 10 out of 10. Got real rough neck. Spike straps on his shoes, cause he's the best there ever was. Haven't you heard the news? Intergalactic continental champ running things, hyperactive instrumental and pulling strings. He's the one who understands when the tides will swing, so he's breaking down the doors, never following. Come on and suck yourself up, cause it's time to play. Bounce to the beats and to the rhymes, cause they're here to stay. The only one in marathon, man living the day. Moving up, coming fast, and they'll blow you away. Because the pressures of this world can take the toll, and it's tough to get away when they take their hold. The only way to break free is to break them all. You can't stop now, lock and load. Don't stop now, come on, rock and roll. In this world, his world, gotta make it run away. Where life is strong. In this world, his world, life is It's a game you play. Life's an open book. In this world, his world, not forever here to stay. Where compromise does not exist. It's world of wars, every step meets the rest. In this world, his world, gotta make your own way, where one is all. In this world, his world, life is just a game you play, never fear the fall. In this world, his world, nothing forever here to stay, where compromise does not exist. In his world of wars, every step meets the rest. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Light the fuse on the rocket and he's ready to go. Cause now the cannon is ready to blow. In his world, where one is intergalactic content champ running things, hyperactive when pulling strings. In his world, never fear the fall. In his world, the only way to break free is to break the mold. You can't stop now, lock and load. His world, I think you can't stop now, lock and load. Come on. Oh my goodness. Why did I have to exit out? Oh, I have such a stupid computer. Still go, still go, still go, still go, still go. So you can't stop now. Lock and load. Here's what. Don't stop now. Come on, rock and roll. And that's how the song ends. Godzilla could see the massive cruisers around Earth's orbit. That's a lot of ships, Anguirus realized. Don't worry. One of the new upgrades I made was a weapon that Godzilla can use as radioactive fire to take care of these ships. The inner cell of the cannon should be able to hold from Godzilla's atomic breath, but it may take a while to recharge, Mothra explained. So I only have one shot. Now's a chance to make it count, Godzilla theorized as he headed to the hatch that led inside the cannon. The cannon was designed so that he could unleash his atomic breath and not be catapulted into space. Okay, Mothra. I'm in position, Godzilla replied. Got it. Godzilla Atomic Cannon. Online, Mothra shouted. The small orange light opened up, revealing a small cannon as it began to draw in small particles as Godzilla powered up his atomic breath. Godzilla's breath was unleashed, multiplying the extra force around him to make the cannon fire a massive blast as it destroyed many targets. 13 alien cruisers KIA. Good hit, Godzilla, Mothra replied. The cannon retracted as the entire alien fleet noticed the Olympus Mons. I think we've got their attention, Anguirus realized. Firing mega laser, Mothra replied. The giant laser on the supercarrier fired instantly as it destroyed an entire shielded alien cruiser in one shot. They've got fighters, Anguirus shouted. We've distracted them long enough for the other cruisers to fight back. Mothra told them. On one of the flagships, Gigan raced to Ghidorah. Master, we're losing a huge amount of our cruisers. The new ship and human fleet is proving too much for our ships to bear, Gigan explained. The Earth Defenders are tearing us apart. Tell all ships to fall back, King Ghidorah ordered as Gigan nodded. All the alien ships began turning around, starting their retreat. Mothra, I just discovered that the G cells that make this cannon are fast regen cells. The cannon is recharged, Godzilla explained. That fast? Amazing. Very well, Godzilla. Take another shot, Mothra replied. Godzilla atomic cannon, fire! Mothra shouted. Once again, the combined force with Godzilla's atomic breath was unleashed as it destroyed more cruisers, destroying more cruisers, destroyers, and even a flagship. Ghidorah's ship and only 3 cruisers remained. The mega laser then fired right as each ship hyperjumped. But one of the cruisers got hit by the mega laser, damaging its engines as it hyperjumped. They're gone, Mothra realized. Godzilla returned from the cannon firing room and onto the bridge. Morgan, do you think the fleet can withstand another attack? Godzilla asked. We can manage, Godzilla. Go after them, Morgan replied. Activating hyperjump on their last known trajectory, Mothra replied. The Olympus Mons' engines powered up as it entered the far reaches of space. 5 asteroseas later. It would take hours for the Olympus Mons to reach its destination, especially with how long it's going to be. Spitfire, Vinyl, Flutterbat, and Pinkie Pie explained what had happened, why they were here. Octavia did not like the idea of seeing her best friend Vinyl wanting to stay here with her baby, but she let it go, knowing her friends would be given access to visit this dimension whenever they pleased. Mothra was kind enough to make the opening to the portal much easier. Rainbow Dash and Spitfire both exchanged their stories since they last saw each other. Twilight, Applejack, and Rayleigh were too interested in what this dimension was, and what Godzilla's adventures were. After a while, everyone had returned to their posts. Twilight then teleported onto the bridge. Mothra, you're needed in the medical bay. Stat. Flutterbat's giving birth, Twilight explained in alarm. Mothra, you're needed in the medical bay. Stat. Flutterbat's getting birth, Twilight explained in alarm. On it, Mothra answered, racing off. I'm going, Anguirus shouted as he took the ball and rolled there as fast as he could. Soon they came arriving just in time. Mothra got to work while Anguirus used his radiation to keep his wife, Flutterbat, and his child alive. Hold on, Flutterbat. Just one more push, Mothra told her. Ah! Flutterbat screamed. Once again, the sound of a newborn infant kaiju hybrid was born. It's a boy, they all realized. The baby was an anthropomorphic bat pony, except she also had a small shell on her back, like Anguirus, and a small part of a tiny horn growing from her snout. Instead of having hooves, she had claws. Anguirus, he's beautiful, Flutterbat gasped. What are we going to call him? Anguirus asked. Why don't we call him Rocky? Varagon answered, noticing his brown skin color. Nothing wants to work with me today. Gon answered, noticing his brown skin color. I like it, Flutterbat grinned. Me too, Anguirus sighed happily as they enjoyed looking at their newborn child. 5 asteroseas later. Rocky was quite the handsome baby anthropomorphic kaiju hybrid. Boy. His bat pony wings and eyes were like his mother's, but the shell, claws, and skins were that of his father, as they enjoyed the company they received. Each of them loved who they were seeing. Godzilla, Mothra, Type 3 Kuryu, and Mogera had returned to the bridge, while the others waited to see what was going on. Godzilla, we picked up the 8 ships that have come across our path, exiting out of hyperspace, Mothra replied, as the Olympus Mons came to a huge halt. 7 strange cruisers and a small flagship hovered there as they had their attention to the Olympus Mons. Their ship was hailed from their new enemy. "Ahoy there! This be Captain Dread Ska, the scourge of the galaxy. Hand over your ship and you won't be hurt, lass," the pirate captain shouted. And this is a cut. Be right. And we're back. We're back to this story. "They can't be serious. Space pirates? Type 3 Curry mumbled. "They can't be serious," Martha replied. "Let's show 'em who's boss. Is the Godzilla atomic cannon recharged?" Godzilla asked. "Yep, it got a lot of cooldown," Martha answered. "Then I've got this," Godzilla grinned, as he returned to the firing control room. "Firing Godzilla atomic cannon!" Martha shouted. Godzilla's atomic breath was charged and unleashed. The ships were all destroyed instantly. "Well, that's one way to shut him up." Good one, good one, good one. Well, that's Godzilla. I found where one of the cruisers went. It's on this planet, dead ahead, Martha replied. "I'm on my way to the bridge," Godzilla answered. As they got there, Martha had put the ship in orbit around the planet. "This doesn't look like the alien homeworld," Godzilla told him. "I think one of the cruisers that got hit by the mega lasers as it left crash-landed here," Martha replied. "Alright, why don't you, Shifter, Anguirus, and Rodan take the ship's journey below? Type 3 Kuryu? Alright. Why don't I, Shifter, Anguirus, and Rodan take the ship's journey below? Type 3 Kuryu, you have the bridge until we return." Godzilla exploded. No, wait. Alright. Why don't you, me, Shifter, Anguirus, and Rodan take the ship's journey below? Type 3 Kuryu, you have the bridge until we return, Godzilla explained. "Gotcha," Type 3 Kuryu answered, as they began to get ready for departure. You know what? We'll just go on to chapter 29. We're going on to chapter 29. Chapter 29. The Beauty of Nature. Warning! Naughtiness ensues. And my computer's being stupid. Dad, blam it. Godzilla, Shifter, Anguirus, and Martha all boarded the Gatango. The small ship left the hangar of the Olympus Mons as they journeyed to the Earth-like planet below. As the ship entered the atmosphere, Godzilla could easily see the giant alien cruiser that had crash-landed near a giant mountain. "Martha, put her down somewhere smooth," Godzilla told him. "Sure thing," Martha replied as he put it down not far away from the ship. Godzilla, since you and Shifter are familiar with nature-like planets, can you two investigate the crash site?" Martha asked. "Agreed. This planet's jungle seems a little dense for you or Anguirus to navigate," Godzilla answered. Godzilla and Shifter began their long walk toward the wreckage of the alien cruiser. 5 astrases later, Godzilla and Shifter walked through the dense jungle as they began to approach the wrecked cruiser. "Hey Godzilla, what happens when this war has ended?" Shifter asked. Godzilla paused at her words as he let out a sigh and replied, "I don't know, but I think for all of us, we will retire with our loved ones," Godzilla answered. That does sound nice," Shifter hummed. They both reached the alien cruiser faster than expected. "This is the cruiser, or rather, what's left of it," Godzilla explained. They both went inside. Lucky for them, everything and every alien robot had been destroyed in the crash. Godzilla looked throughout the ship and found some of the alien computers. Dad, blam it! Alien computers. As it turns out, the ship had the coordinates to the alien kaiju homeworld. "This will help us get us back on track," Godzilla replied, putting it in the bag. Shifter had checked everything else, but she didn't find anything. As they both exited, Godzilla noticed a huge, ugly storm coming their way. Those clouds look harmful, and acidic. We better find shelter, Godzilla told her. Shifter looked around and spotted the answer. There's a cave on that mountain, Shifter told him. Come on, let's go then, Godzilla told her. As the two of them entered the cave and were able to seal it shut, lucky not to get hurt by the acid rain, the Gitango used its energy shield to protect itself from the harsh weather. How long will it be for before the storm ends? Shifter asked. We might not get clear skies until tomorrow, Godzilla answered. Godzilla used his abilities to see if any alien life forms lived in the cave, only to find none. Godzilla had found a few pieces of wood and created a small fire as he and Shifter sat close to each other, becoming warm by the fire. Shifter looked at Godzilla as she was hypnotized by his black scales. Godzilla was hypnotized by her bright cyan scales. Hey Godzilla, can I tell you something? Shifter asked. Sure. What is it? Godzilla asked. Godzilla, when we imprinted on one another in the Lost Kingdom, ever since that moment I have learned to love you even more. And now, since we seem to be on the verge of ending the war, I want to ask that Godzilla, I think I want to be your mate, your wife, through our Godzilla Source imprint and kaiju laws. So will you marry me and make me your mate? Shifter asked. Dead silence filled the cave as she saw he was shocked by her proposal. Shifter, it has been years since I had a family of my own, and since we defeat our enemies, I would love to, not because I am lonely, but because I am in love with you, Godzilla answered. Their lips met once more as they were in a passionate kiss. Godzilla pulled Shifter close to him, their reptilian underbellies touching on contact, and turned their kiss into a French kiss, making Shifter moan into the deep, passionate kiss. After a long while, the two separated, panting on air. Their eyes glowed pink once more, but this time... computer, stop it! Eyes glowed pink once more. But seriously, the slight... Stop it! My computer is super dumb. Their eyes glowed pink once more, but this time they weren't holding back on their imprintive instincts. They once again breathed small breaths of their radioactive fire that mixed and danced and vanished. They both revealed their parts of their naked bodies to each other. Shifter drew Godzilla's equipment from its size. Oh my, you're big, Shifter blushed. I was 300 feet tall. What did you expect? Oh my, I have to put this over here. This is my curious being stupid. But yeah. That has to be the best, hilarious thing ever. When you, like a girl who's interested, or like a wife who realizes it says, oh my, your think cock-a-doodle-doo is big, and you just say, I was a big guy, I was very buff. What'd you expect? A pencil? I don't mean to sound perverted, but it's just funny. Oh my goodness, best day. Shifter giggled as she revealed her naked form. Her naked breasts were quite big, but thanks to the spikes on her back, she had no spinal issues. Now that's different and new. Small dark blue spikes on her head and near the tips of her tail. On the exact tip of her tail was soft blue-like scale, shaped like a feather almost. To Godzilla, she was an amazing goddess. Her incredible beauty rivaled others. Shifter, you're gorgeous, Godzilla stammered. Thanks, but you're more handsome than I thought you were, Shifter blushed. Thanks, Godzilla blushed. Godzilla, I really love you. Please, show me how dominant you are. Ravage this beautiful goddess. Make her know how lucky she is, Shifter panted. I will, Godzilla replied. Godzilla, Shifter moaned as he traced over the sensitive parts of her body. I'm ready. Please make love with your imprinted mate. Show me how much you love me, Shifter panted. Oh, God. Then I shall begin, Godzilla answered. The entire cave was filled with Godzilla's groans. As for Shifter, she was moaning so loud that she could have probably been heard throughout half the forest if they weren't in the cave. Good God, what's going on in there? Morning finally came as the storm had died down. The cave was now open as the sunlight peered through. Godzilla laid on top of Shifter's back. Thankfully, her spikes weren't sharp enough to pierce his skin. But as a matter of fact, he could easily lay on top of her back without each of them having trouble. Their tails were intertwined as they laid on the cave floor, fast asleep, where they were soaked, but they easily began to wake up from their romantic time in the cave. That was intense, Shifter moaned. Wow, I must be the luckiest kaiju in the universe to have a mate like you, Godzilla told her. My computer's being stupid. I'm glad I'm your mate, my sexy reptile, Shifter cooed seductively. Ooh la la! I'm sorry, I don't have Oh my goodness. Two of them got up, they loved. Tails were intertwined, but Sue began to stretch as Shifter saw the view of many trees, a small river, a mountain, and a beautiful sky. As Godzilla approached after unwinding their tails, Godzilla approached Shifter and caressed her back and rubbed his tail between her legs. Shifter let out a moan as she collapsed on her knees. She then turned her head around, giving Godzilla bedroom eyes with her head angled slightly. I think I want more. Think you have enough energy to ravage this beautiful goddess? Shifter cooed seductively. Oh, I can, because I have a lot of energy and a lot of stamina, Godzilla smirked. The two did it again. Godzilla let out his groans while Shifter was moaning so loud it almost echoed across to where the Katanga was at. Hours passed as the two of them got a quick power nap. You know, if we get a chance when the war is over, we're doing that again, Shifter panted. That sounds good. I can't get enough of how beautiful you are, Godzilla smiled. And I love it when you dominate me, Shifter moaned back. We better get going, even if I want to keep doing this, Godzilla told her. Shifter let out a disappointed sigh. Same, she answered. Godzilla got the small knapsack that held the flesh drive that led to the alien kaiju's homeworld. They both hid their sexual parts with their scales and got themselves cleaned off as they headed back to the Gatango. 5 asteroids later. What took you so long? Martha asked. Before Godzilla could answer, as he and Shifter climbed in, he noticed the kaiju wedding ring on both of their index claws. Oh, you too, huh? Well, now all the members of the Earth Defenders are married, Martha explained. I am very lucky that I have this beautiful goddess as my mate, Godzilla said, which made Shifter blush deeply. I bet every guy in the world envies you, Anguirus grumbled. I'm one of them. And so are many other perverted bronies that like Ember. Or want to bang Ember or something like that. Anyway. Everybody envies me, Anguirus, Godzilla answered. True dat. Well, except for the fans that don't know about you, Anguirus told them. Can we leave? Godzilla asked. Mothra needed no answers as the Katanga returned to the Olympus Mons. As they boarded, Godzilla told everyone what he discovered and also that he and Shifter were now married to each other, making everyone happy. Oh, wow. Well, since it's not long, Chapter 30 and the epilogue. The Olympus Mons jumped out of hyperspace as it faced the 2 elite cruisers and the flagship that housed King Ghidorah. Godzilla used the ship alone to take out his enemies. The 2 cruisers were destroyed easily. Now came the final mission as they boarded the flagships. The Earth Defenders were now coming across the ship forces as they began to fight their way throughout the ship. Finally, they all entered the bridge, encountering Orga, Mechagodzilla, Megalon, Gigan, and King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah, you are under arrest for your galactic crimes against the human race, Godzilla shouted. King Ghidorah laughed. I want this to be our last fight. This time, we will emerge victorious, and we will finally defeat the Earth Defenders once and for all, King Ghidorah shouted. The final battle began as the Earth Defenders fought with their maximum ferocity. The battle was constantly tied as all of them used their signature powers to try to defeat each other. However, the situation looked grim for the aliens as the Earth Defenders team blew up Mechagodzilla, killed Organ, and shredded Megalon. Gigan and King Ghidorah were apprehended after stopping them from escaping. The Olympus Mons destroyed the flagship. You lose, King Ghidorah, Godzilla growled as he saw his enemy in the cell. This isn't over. Even if my defeat is here, some will rise from the ashes and invade Earth next, King Ghidorah laughed. Not after what I will do to end this war, Godzilla growled. Mothra, fire the planet deatomizer, Godzilla shouted. Mothra nodded as the Olympus Mons combined with the super form of burning Godzilla. Godzilla destroyed the entire planet. The Olympus Mons hyper jumped home with its welcomed cargo. Epilogue. When the Earth Defenders had returned, everyone was happy. Twilight, Octavia, Rainbow Dash, Applejack, and Rarity returned home to their dimension. King Ghidorah and Gigan went into the... As for the mutants, well, all after their failures in the Lost Kingdom, Stalingrad, and other places, they all turned themselves in, giving up. The war was over. The Earth Defenders had won. Spitfire gave birth to Rodan's baby. It was a son named Comet Trail. He was an anthropomorphic Pegasus kaiju hybrid who had his mother's fiery color and her eye color. He also had his father's speed and elemental powers. Pinkie Pie gave birth to a girl who was an anthropomorphic unicorn kaiju hybrid. Her name was Sugar Cake. She had her mother's bright pink color and her father's firepower and dirt digging ability. Both Baragon and Pinkie Pie were happy and still in love. Same for Spitfire Rodan, plus Vinyl Scratch and Mothra. and for Flutterbat and Anguirus. The humans then blamed us for so much destruction. Soon we were all hunted, but our wives, children, and even the Earth Defenders escaped their deadly weapons. We are forced to leave as my wife, Shifter, gives birth to my child. That was basically all told in Godzilla's point of view. Just one more push, Shifter, Mothra shouted. Ah! Shifter screamed as Godzilla's baby was born. She's beautiful, Shifter realized. Amber. Let's name her Amber, Godzilla told her. Amber it is, Shifter smiled. Godzilla, they're coming! We have to go through the portal now! Anguirus shouted. Let's go! Godzilla told him, as the Earth Defenders, Spitfire, Vinyl Scratch, Flutterbat, and Pinkie Pie all went through the portal with the children that they gave birth to and closed the portal behind them, permanently never going back to their own dimension. Or will they? The end. And that was Return of the Earth Defenders, guys. That was the first book, first fanfic of my entire series. So I'm going to post this episode, and it's going to be, so hope you all enjoyed. This is going to be Predator 25 signing off. See you in a bit, hopefully.